my story starts in March 11th. Me and my buddies had gone to the park to play soccer, and we had, gotten bored and stuff, and I had decided to, be a show-off and adrenaline junkie and, basically just goofing off, and was doing backflips off the playground equipment, and I landed the last two on my head. I went to the doctor, and, after a week of all kinds of medical appointments, they told me that I had crushed C1 in 2 places, so there's 2 fractures in C1, and the cervical columns, right, is made up of C1, which is at the tip top, the bone that attaches to the skull, and then all the way down to C7. And anywhere that you have an injury on your spinal column, it poses a lot of danger, and it's just very dangerous and can be very detrimental to your health and life. But the rule is basically the higher up you go, the more dangerous it is. So I had to go with the top there and just crush the very top bone, and basically any injury you get from C5 up to C1, you shouldn't even be breathing without machines or moving at all. The injury that Christopher Reeves had was to C1 and C2, and you saw how he ended up. So doctors were telling me how unbelievably lucky I am that to be walking and moving and breathing, and they told me I was in the 5th percentile of people to be alive after such an injury. From that point on, I had basically, from March to October, I was in a cervical collar, and because of the type of injury it was and the way it affected my body, I was on bed rest for 6 or 7 out of the 8 months, dealing with all these emotions and this situation. One thing that I really liked to do was paint. And, my dad would set up my easel right here in bed for me at my eye level and give me my paints and my brushes and stuff so I could sit in bed and paint. And it really helped to get all my thoughts and feelings and emotions out on the canvas. And one thing that really helped me through every day was I would just think of this like, okay, I'm in this stormy ocean right now. It's just this hurricane, and it's stormy and cloudy, and there's a lighthouse, and God is my lighthouse. And as long as I can see through the storm enough to just get to that lighthouse and get to that calm weather, then everything will be okay. That whole time was quite an uphill battle for me, both physically and mentally, but not once in the entire time did I ever blame God for what happened. I didn't ever get angry with God or feel abandoned by God. I always felt blessed to even be breathing and to be able to move my fingers and toes. And so I had gone 6 months of getting scans every 6 weeks to check on the progress of the bones healing. And for 6 months straight, the bones were just not healing at all, that they were making no progress. I had gone and baptized 6 months after the accident, and then all of a sudden, a week later, I go to the doctor's, and he's looking at my scans, and he was just amazed and blown away because he says, I don't understand this. One of your fractures is completely healed. And I just thought that was so amazing. Like, what are the odds that, I could go 6 months straight and no healing, and then I get baptized, and and renew my heart and soul. And then like another miracle thrown in here, you know, there's a healed fracture there. And it was, I thought that was really neat. I thought that was amazing. God always gave me this hope that even though today is a very dark day, you're gonna have tomorrow. There's going to be a future for you, and it's going to be brighter and better than this if you can just get through today. That's always what I felt God was telling me, you know, just get through today, get through tomorrow, and you'll be able to help other people find hope in God. The only reason that I'm still here alive today is because God he'd basically just braced my fall and just placed his hand out, and my head fell directly into his hand, and that's a huge thing to grasp, you know. So I don't think I'll ever understand fully what a miracle it was. It's too much of a miracle to ever be able to fully understand what God did that day. God is what got me through. He's my lighthouse, and he's what got me through all of that. So it's a nice reminder I have every day. I give you all